Everyone, good morning. Today we are going to start the revision of Unit 3, Section 1, Hard Times. Somewhat tricky type of lesson is there. The moral is not clear, but one thing we can say that the person was there very much emphasized on the fact, right? Whatever he want to ask, he asked to the children. He wanted the correct answer that we have seen in this lesson, and because of that, I think children were facing some hard time that we have seen in this lesson. So let's begin the question answer. Answer the following questions. The speaker square forefinger means this tip. Emphasize means give importance. His observation. On which particular word does the speaker lay emphasis? How did the speaker emphasize his observation? Answer is, he lays emphasis on the word facts. I repeat, he lays emphasis on the words fact. Whatever question he asks to the students, he wants only and only the correct answer. That means fact answer. So here we can say the person gave importance to the facts. He emphasized his observation by understanding every sentence with a line on the schoolmaster's sleeve. Again, he emphasized his observation by understanding every sentence with a line on the schoolmaster's sleeve. Sorry. What were the things or mannerism? Mannerism means person's good habit. Mannerism means a person's good habit. Mannerism that helped the speaker lay emphasis. The emphasis was helped by the speaker's square wall of the forehead. Square wall of the forehead. Forehead means the upper part of our eyebrows. By his wide, thin, hard-set mouth. His appearance was little bit different than I think normal person. By his inflexible, dry and dictatorial voice. Dictatorial means hard enough, rough enough. It was also helped by the speaker's hair. Obstinate carriage. Obstinate means stubborn like. Square coat, square legs and square shoulders. Yes, normally we have curve shape. On our organs are of curve shape. But here, I think the person's body parts only shows his strictness, right, from his appearance. No need to worry about, the question is not that much important. Let's go for the second one. Describe Mr. Gradgrind with reference to A. First, his appearance, and second, his behavior. Somewhat his appearance we have seen in first answer. Let's go for the second one. He had a very stiff carriage, wore a square coat and had square legs and shoulder. He had a very stiff carriage, right? His appearance was not that much, what I can say, impressible. Wore a square coat and had square legs and shoulder. Generally, we do not found square legs and shoulder, right? But here, Mr. Gradgrind's appearance was like this. He was bald. Bald means without hair. He was bald and had a wide, thin and hard set of mouth. His forehead was like a square wall, right? Can you believe this? His forehead was like a square wall. His eyes were like a dark cave with eyebrows. Yes. His eyes were like a dark caves, very big and dark. It's looking like a caves and with eyebrows. Second answer is there. About his behavior, he believed that children should be taught only facts because facts above all the things were wanted in life. What he actually wanted from children and from school staff, he wanted just only one thing, that whatever you teach to the student, it must be based on the facts, because he thought that facts is only important in life, nothing else. He spoke in any flexible, dry and dictatorial voice. Any flexible means there was a strictness in his voice, some rudeness was there, very strict he was about his opinion. His square finger emphasized his observation by understanding every sentences. He was dictating every terms, every sentences by putting out the fingers, by putting emphasis on that particular observation. So such was the appearance and behavior of Mr. Gradgrind. Now this Bitzer appearance. Question number 3. Describe Bitzer appearance. Bitzer was so light-eyed and light-haired that the self-same rays appeared to draw out him what little color he ever possessed. He was having ever. His cold eyes would hardly ever been eyes, but for the short ends of lashes. Lashes means the hair on the eyes. His short cropped hair might have been a mere continuation means carry on, of the sandy freckles on the forehead, on his forehead and face. I repeat, his short cropped hair might have been a mere means only continuation of the sandy freckles on his forehead and face. His skin was so deficient in the natural tinge. His skin was so deficient in the natural tinge color. Next one is 4th number. In what words did Bitzer define a horse? What is unusual about his definition? Whatever he was knowing about the horse, when Mr. Gradgrind asked him the definition of horse, that time whatever he was knowing about, he just spoke. Let's see the answer. He said that a horse was the quadruped. Quadruped means having 4 foot, and gramineous means eating grass and seeds. Quadruped and gramineous. It had 40 teeth, namely 24 grinders, 4 eye teeth and 12 incisors, right? You know much better. It shades its coat and hoofs. Coat means upper fur and hoofs means toes are there beta, which reduce automatically by time to time. Reduce not remove toes. Its hoofs were hard but had to be dressed with iron. His age could be judged by marks on its mouth. How can you judge the age of the horse? By marks on its mouth. Let's see the answer once again. He said that a horse was quadruped and gramineous. It had 40 teeth, namely 24 grinders, 4 eye teeth and 12 incisors. It shed its coat and hoofs. You might be knowing that people in India put that such kind of semicircle knot U-turn like that. Shape is there, which is I think coated with their toes, and it removed automatically. And that if we put near, it's just belief only there. I do not believe in that. Its hoofs were hard but had to be dressed with iron. Its edges could be judged by marks in his mouth. The next one. He seemed a galvanizing apparatus to charge with a grim mechanical substitute for the tender young imagination that were to be stormed away. Let's see. What do you think he was charged with? He was charged with unlimited facts, which was waiting to fill the young minds with. He was having lots of knowledge, so he wanted to distribute everything with young minds, the children like you. Okay, so this answer says like that. He was charged with unlimited facts. He was having so many knowledge about different things, which was waiting to fill the young minds with. Next one is there. To what are the children in the class being compared to? What does it tell you about the education system during that time? Let's see. The children are compared to as the pitchers. Pitchers, you know, pot to fill water, and vessels waiting to be filled to the brim, up to the corner, full size. The children are compared to as a pitcher or pots or vessels waiting to be filled to the brim. It tells us that at that times children in a class were not allowed to ask the question or clear their doubts. Now I think after 21, children may come to school to ask their doubts and clear that with teachers. Let's see. But that time, in old period, it was not allowed for children. They have to just listen whatever they are being explained. It tells us that at that time, children in a class were not allowed to ask questions or clear their doubts. They just had to obey the teachers, listen to them and fill their minds. Obey to them means listen or perform as teacher wish, listen to them and fill their minds. So this was all about question answer of this lesson. Let's go for reference to context. It's father who calls me Sissy, sir. The sentence is, it's father. It means it plus is. Father who calls me Sissy, sir. Where is Sissy at this time? Whom is she speaking to? Sissy is in her class. Sissy is in her class. She is speaking to Mr. Gradgrind. She is speaking to Mr. Gradgrind. Why does she say this? When Mr. Gradgrind said that she should not call herself Sissy because Sissy is not a name but Cecilia, the young girl says the quoted line. When Mr. Gradgrind said that she should not call herself Sissy because Sissy is not a name but Cecilia, the young girl says the quoted line. What is Sissy's father? Sissy's father worked in a ring. A ring means like a stable. Sissy's father worked in a ring. He was a horse rider. He was a horse rider. How does the listener of the above lines describe the profession of Sissy's father? Sissy's father is a veterinary surgeon, a horse breaker and a farrier. Sissy's father is a veterinary surgeon. Veterinary means a doctor for animals. Sissy's father is a veterinary surgeon, a horse breaker and a farrier. What was the work of Sissy's father? He was taking care of horse. Horse breaker means maintaining and farrier. Horse breaker means taking proper care of horse and farrier means keeping the balance of horse health. Okay. Thank you very much. Please do the revision properly.